Okay. This is testing, okay?
Okay.
All right.
And take one.
Today we have a special guest, Mr. Nathan, going to shed some light on this topic of conversation that we wanted to share with you today. It will be a mukbang, but I thought I would include him at the beginning since he's already eaten and he doesn't want to share in this,
I don't
seafood
want
boil,
to
if you
share.
will.
Okay, I ate. I didn't know this is my mom does unexpected videos all the time. I'm like watching TV and she's like, okay, lower it down. Okay, I'm gonna do a video. Like no plans on like.
I need quiet on set. I mean, anyway. So
The topic is the coronavirus.
coronavirus. So if you'd like to hear what we have to say, please stick around. Today on Let's Chat, we are talking about the coronavirus. I'm sure everybody's talking about it. And so my son wanted to shed some light. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, friends.
Welcome, Nathan. So you mentioned that you wanted to share a little something. Please, we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Well, me and my mom were talking about it later because we were at the grocery store. It was like a huge line, like 10 people in the line, taking super long. And it was at Albertsons where they have the policy, 3 is a crowd. We'll open up another cash register. All of them were open. Every single one of them were open. And me and my mom have made the point that it's just the coronavirus was overstressed. And only a couple people have died. Not a couple, but just multiple people have died. But it's not like our planet is not 7 billion and it's now like 1 billion, It's not rapidly decreasing. And
while it's still important to take it seriously, I think one of the concerns that we had talked about was that we went to Costco and then we went to Albertsons and both completely packed.
And
I feel like
some people are hoarding, and like me, my mom just made a point. People are hoarding, taking stuff for themselves, where there are people who are completely homeless and dying because they don't even have medicine.
the one thing I wanted to point out was the toilet paper. So especially at Costco. So we went yesterday for some items and then we went today. And we would overhear the lady talk about, they were limiting people coming in, to keep, I think, with 250 people limit. As right now, as of yesterday, they said anything like a crowd that gathers a crowd of 250 or more has to be canceled or postponed. So when we walked in, it was fine. The lines were back. I don't know how every Costco, varies as far as how they set up. But a couple of them in our area, you walk in and you can see the cash registers like behind a wall, and then you turn and there's usually like the TVs, the computers, and then it starts the rows, the clothes, and then like the furniture.
Yeah, and then like
and the furniture's sort of closer to the back. Well, all these lines, several lines were basically closer to the back. I would say 3 or 4 rows from like where the seafood is or where the food is or the wine. That's how usually ours are set up. And we were just talking about how hoarding toilet paper is not going to save you from the coronavirus. And so I think that's where it was just a little challenging. Also, when we went to Albertsons, like he was mentioning, it was way more than like 10 people. It was so many people just backed up. All the lines were open, but it still took a while. And so I think that for those that, I even put out like a feeler on Facebook, like some of these groups, like Buy Nothing, whatever your city is. And I'm like, if anybody needs, we have extra cereal or milk that we can give, because at this point, I think it's important to share what you have if you can. I just feel like some of these people hoarding like toilet paper or, what is it? Remember we asked the lady for, or remember I was going to send you
sanitizer. Yeah, hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
She looked all week. Nothing on Amazon was gone. And also, another point of hoarding. Maybe there was a man in an aisle, and my mom asked me to get a shopping cart. Also, there's none. Only baskets, and even the baskets, there was like
completely taken.
And like, I had to go all the way to like the back near the cash registers, and I guess they were on display. There was like toilet paper in like, no, not toilet paper, paper towels, like a lot of them inside baskets. no one was near them, and they were in the back where like no one was. So I'm like, I'm gonna just take one of these. And while I'm going into one of the aisles, maybe the man had a big family, but I see a man operating 2 shopping carts, blocking up the whole aisle. No one else was in the aisle, like on the other side, so I had to like back up, almost crash into the lady, like because she didn't see me coming. And then I had to go all the way around because there's just people. There's like traffic jams on the aisles. There's like 2 people going at once.
It's pretty hard. It's pretty chaotic. And so, you know, we do the best we can with the hand sanitizer that we do have, you know, when we, right when we get back from the store, because obviously we have the baby and Landon, who's only 4. So we worry about that, though we haven't heard anything about children, catching it. It's still possible because they're so little. But it's just been a little crazy when we go. Like, we went to Target. It didn't seem as crazy at Target, but that was about 3 days ago. And I feel like since then, there's been a little bit of more news, the travel ban and such. So it's getting a little more hectic. There are a lot of shelves that are empty. Baby wipes at Costco were gone, at least at ours. So baby wipes. Sanitizer was also huge.
Paper towels. There was like a whole stock completely gone. Even
at Albertsons, though, when we went, it was kind of dwindling down.
And this is kind of random, but also like those noodle soups, like these on this shelf, we couldn't like there's those ones that are like flavored and they're inside like really tiny packages, and then there's those. There was like plenty of those, but there was like 3 shelves with that usually had that just completely empty.
I mean, we're also thinking about, so we want to be wise. You know, I told Nathan we want to be wise. I don't think we should feed into the panic per se, because I think it freaks us out and then it just instills fear, and you know, that's just our opinion. Because at the end of the day, if you catch it, you catch it. You just have to, you know, rest, drink lots of water, do the best that you can
to prevent it.
Not
prevent it, but
maybe minimize.
Just do the best to minimize. Because I mean, like I said, there have been death cases, but that does not mean a cure will be found. And if you're optimistic about it and do your best to survive, I guess just to minimize how bad the corona takes you, you can probably still live long enough to find a cure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the flu, probably a couple degrees worse, which is what we're hearing. Because I don't know if it's like a cure per se. It's like it's a cold that's like to the 10th degree is what I'm understanding. And we don't know much. We're just, you know, speaking on our, you know, sort of on what we see from our end, that you do the best that you can. But at the end of the day, I think if you have it, you know, you treat it, because I think they had the flu. You guys had the flu, like a couple months back. And I think I posted a video about that. The baby tested positive. And we just, you know, kept cold compresses on him because he had a fever. With them too, I just let it ride, have them rest, keep them hydrated. We don't know. I saw a video about a doctor talking about it. We don't have, like, I think all the information as far as correct numbers. Some people can't be tested because there's a limited number of tests out there. So, you know, we do the best we can with what we have at the store. And there's plenty of people online that are saying they're down to like their last roll of toilet paper. And it just, all the memes online, I mean, toilet paper is not going to prevent the corona.
There's people all over the world. Like my mom was telling me about it. It's like a certain towel. It's like reusable ones. Mm-hmm. You wipe, you throw it in like I guess a trash can, not like a trash with multiple trash, just like your own little can. And then you just like wash them, or
yeah, some people do that. You know, I think there's already people sort of, you know, helping the planet as much as they can in their low waste or minimum waste. And I have seen those where they use like a towel of some sort, and they wipe and they place it in this basket, and then they wash them and reuse. I have to admit that when I first saw that, I mean, it takes a little bit to accept that when you're not used to it. But the way that things are looking right now, there's a lot of panic. And I think we all need to be open to any ideas, including, like reusable diapers. But, you know,
I hope I
hope it doesn't become, like, you know, right now it's a choice. I hope it doesn't become sort of like, that's what you're going to have to do. But at this point, we all have to be resourceful and figure it out in case times get harder, because at this point it's really hard to see, you know, what's to come and what's going to happen, like with everything, you know.
And hey, we're human beings. We created electricity. I mean, we should be fine.
So that is that. That's a word from Nathan. Thank you so much,
you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And maybe we'll have you on for another episode
Please
soon.
do. I like being a star. like a co-star.
A co-host, you mean?
When we're back.
Yes. Okay. And we're back. So, I feel like we covered a lot with Nathan, just, sort of a perspective of an 11-year-old. Today, so I'm going to try to eat because I feel like my shrimpies are getting cold. But, so today we got a notice that the schools were going to be closed. Which I didn't think much of it just 2 days ago because, there's some people who say, no need to panic, and then there's those who are completely scared. Like I said, I don't think we have all the information. Yes, there's deaths, but from the community that I've heard, it's mostly elderly. Not to say that that's, less important by any means. All of us have grandparents, or parents, with health, I guess, immunity compromised, I think is how you say it. So it's definitely something to be mindful of, but I just think that the amount of fear that's being put out there by the media seems to be a little overkill. I think we should all be wise, with anything. But then there's also been news of people who have had it, even in San Diego, who have gotten better. So with that being said, I just feel like, let's be wise, wash your hands. And also I had to post this earlier. So when I was at Costco, I went to go look at something because the lines were ridiculous, as we've mentioned. And so as I was crossing through, which people they're back-to-back traffic jam. There's no room for you to cross over just to look at something. So I was, and I had to say excuse me a couple times. And this guy, he was on his phone. So I passed by. I was like, excuse me, passed by. His phone was right here. And he was like, I was like, are you serious? And the thing is, I feel like I think about it afterwards and I'm like, I should have said something. Hello, can you cover yourself or turn in an empty direction? He didn't, and he didn't even flinch. It was no big deal. So I thought, okay, must have been a one-off. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's very obvious, cough into your elbow. At this point, I feel people should be a little more aware and comfortable with coughing into your elbow. Or whatever, your hand, and then use hand sanitizer, something. So that happened. I just kind of looked back and I was like, really, dude? So then we went to Albertsons, same day, and this guy, holding his phone, different guy. And so he's there, about to get to the cashier. I don't know if you can. And he literally did the same thing. Had the phone out, and it was like, I'm thinking to myself, yo, I don't care if it's a small, you're adjusting your throat, or if it's a full-on attack, please cover up, turn your head into a direction where, as much as possible, it's not in somebody's face or close to them. It made me so upset because, some people may be like, whatever, this is not that serious. Sure, you can think whatever you want until you have it, and then it's well, what should we do? It just seems so obvious to me that people should cover themselves. I mean, this is kindergarten 101. These people look like they were in their 50s. Not cool, dudes. When I was in that line, I was about to send, because I was like, man, there was something else I needed. So I sent Nathan, I was like, hey, I need you to go get the disinfectant, the hand sanitizer. So, take a couple minutes, but I'm close to the front. Like, I need you to go get it. And this lady, all I see is her shaking her head. And I was like, yeah. She's like, I already checked. And that's what Nathan was talking about. She said, I already checked, there's none. I've been to several stores, there's none. And even on Amazon, there's none. So I was like, wow, crazy. So I went on Amazon, but a lot of the ones that seem available, I don't even know if they're expensive. Like, one was like $10. And it looked for like a few bottles, small bottles. And a lot of them had like low reviews. So, I don't know. Sometimes, there's so much out there as far as like information, and you don't know what the right thing to do is or to believe, but some are like, don't panic, just wash your hands. Others are like, use face masks. There's others that say, don't buy a face mask, not all of us need it, and you're keeping it from those who do need it. So I don't know. We just came back from our trip. And the crazy thing is, when we were in Seattle, I think the last night we were there, I happened to read something and it said that was like the 4th or 5th case of the coronavirus up there. As a mom, I can't help but feel a little bit, concerned. Because we were flying, we took like 3 flights. Yeah, 3 flights total. And of course there was crowded places, and, all we did was wash hands. And if I was changing the baby's diaper somewhere and he touched something, I washed his hands with soap, hand sanitizer in every before and after whatever it is that we were going to, or after Ubers, or I think there was, actually there was an Uber driver who he picked us up and he like coughed. And I just looked and I was like, you didn't cover yourself, dude. Not cool. Especially because, you're driving people around. But anyway, so we did what we could. But reading that in Seattle that there was like the 5th case of a death there, it was pretty scary. And then, of course, now people are saying like, oh, try not to fly. What I was gonna do is, because, Alex is off of work until Monday. So I thought, this is my chance. If I'm gonna travel, I'm gonna do it with my friend. And so at first I thought London. And then I thought, hey, we should go to like Paris. Or she thought Paris, and I was like, yeah, that would be cool, I only have a few days to do it. Again, this is flying standby. Don't think that I don't have that coin yet, so standby. Well, she kind of second guessed it. And she's like, honestly, I don't want to go that far for, just a few days. And I said, oh, I was bummed, but I was like, all right. I didn't know how I was going to feel after flying so much in the previous day. So I was supposed to land. We landed on Monday night. Monday night? Yeah. And I was going to fly out on Tuesday morning, like just to make the best of my time because Alex can keep the kids. So, and so, that happened. I got back. I was like, man, I am tired, whatever. Sure enough, the next day, so Tuesday I was supposed to fly out to like, I think we had decided maybe Paris. The next day, I hear that the president is banning people from Europe to come in. You know how stressful? I'm going to show these. You know how stressful that is? I can't imagine the people that were due to come back this week. They're thinking they got to go to work. Kids got to go to school. Side note, though, just today I got an email from Nathan's school. They're out for a month until April 13th because of this thing. So, I mean, half of me is like, man, if you want to travel, do it now. The other half is like, whoa, don't risk it. But I can't imagine if I wouldn't have made it back. Because with him starting the new job, you know, I gotta be with the kids. I'm glad we didn't go. But anyway, so that's what's going on right now. I'd love to hear what's going on in your neck of the woods. Where are you from? What's going on? What have you noticed in the stores? Have you noticed anything off, or like panic or empty shelves? I feel like if you haven't, it's a matter of time. And then of course other things, you know, worry me. It's important to don't hoard, you know, like make sure that you think about your neighbor. They might need things, but also to be mindful, because you might need, I don't know, you might need things that are not perishables, cereals, cans of tuna, things that can be eaten like without being cooked. I don't know. I just feel like with so much panic, it can go either way. Honestly, it feels like that way. But I feel like we're bracing for impact. And, you know, try to remain calm at the same time, because if you're stressed, I feel like your body is trying to deal with the stress and not helping you, you know, heal if you are sick. So it's best to remain calm, because like I said, I mean, if it happens, you know, you got to do the best you can. But that's pretty much our take. Hoping to hear from you guys. What's it like in your neck of the woods? And yeah, what are y'all doing to prepare? Because, you know, what if quarantine comes this way? That's what we're preparing for, as far as like water and diapers and formula fed babies, you know? Right. That's it for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.